Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Inquisitor. We're now entering the town of Hilbert. Hello, how are you doing today? Uh-oh.
Greetings, Knight. How is it going? Could I have a little talk with you?
What is it, children? Do you need to confide something to me? I'm sorry, I don't have time.
Just that, Knight. It concerns my friend Julian, a Hillbrandt soldier just like me. He hasn't been on duty for several days now. It's too bad, because Sheriff Canterbury noticed he was missing and proclaimed him to be a deserter. But I'm not sure that he deserted. You know, lately he's been very interested in Natalia Reichman, the daughter of the merchant Stefan Reichman. I don't know what she thought about it, but when her father got word, he went mad and told Julian if he even looks at his daughter, he's going to kill him.
Do you really think he did it?
I don't know, Knight. I just needed to tell it to somebody. I thought it to be quite a coincidence.
Thank you, children.
Alright, so another question from the soldier there. Possibly something to look into. We'll talk with some of these people here later. Let's first head to the church, which is of dire importance. Welcome to Hillbrandt, my son. I was informed that you are about to arrive. I'm glad nothing bad befell you during your journey. It's very dangerous to travel the realm in these difficult times. It's especially dangerous here in the north. I'm Judge Valaran, and I hold the office of the Inquisitorial Judge, with the delegated rights of the Curial Inquisitor here in Hillbrandt.
Excuse me, Your Honor, but what does the title Curial Inquisitor mean?
I see you're not yet acquainted with the hierarchy of the Holy Office. After all, you're still only an Inquisitorial Investigator Adept. Then know that the Curial Inquisitor is the highest-ranking official of the Inquisitorial Curia, which is a basic organization unit of the Holy Office. If a large-scale heresy is proven somewhere in the realm, then the Inquisitorial Curia is founded there. Its territory overlaps with the territory of given diocese. No heresy has been proven yet here in Hillbrandt, and thus an Inquisitorial Curia wasn't founded. The Holy Office is represented by me as an Inquisitorial Judge, and with delegated rights for a Curial Inquisitor.
I understand. It's an honor to meet you, Your Honor.
To be honest, at first I wasn't too glad you'd arrive here in Hillbrandt. The Holy Office is able to take care of matters of heresy by itself, even here in this godforsaken part of the realm. But then I decided I could use your services. It would be a nice proof that the Holy Office has no secret before the Brotherhood of the Righteous, and is able to cooperate with it. And it seems we'd be rather busy here. I was sent here together with my brothers from Glatzburg, Curial Inquisitor Tranquillius, to investigate the local crimes. We arrived just after the snow thawed, and the roads became at least a little bit passable. Immediately after our arrival, I realized that the town was in grave danger, and that there wasn't any time to waste.
How was that possible? What happened?
It's obvious that somebody had been invoking dark powers, my son. Some perverse heretics are trying to destroy that was firm for centuries. There's been evil gathering around the town, and it doesn't seem one would be willing to back off. Someone's been attracting, luring, and encouraging it. Only God can know what plans of these heretics anyways. I'm sure it won't be anything good.
Well, what happened in Hillbrandt anyways?
Monsters came, my son. Infernal creatures known only from the worst nightmares. Hideous hell spawns crawling from the deepest holes of the surface, spinning their dark webs around the town. At first, only cattle from the pastures occasionally went missing, then people who were unlucky enough to stay outside the town walls after dusk started to disappear. Nobody has seen them ever since, and then came the terrible blow, when the miners in the iron mines got slaughtered, and their village, Rashabat, was razed to the ground. There were only a few survivors who were able to tell about the atrocities they witnessed.
Who razed the village?
Orcs, my son. I know how absurd it might sound. Those infernal servants of chaos were mentioned only in legends from the times of the fall of the pagan realms of inhuman races. Nevertheless, it seems, had those legends revived. By all accounts, orcs came from somewhere in the infernal depths beneath Moonshine Mountains. According to the recent reports from the iron mines, huge underground halls were found while mining in the lowest level of the mines. Nobody knew then that the greenskins would come from there.
How was it possible that beings of ancient times could appear in our world?
I don't doubt heretics are responsible, my son. Somebody managed to open the gates of hell and brought legions of those cursed beasts that had served well their lords of chaos in the past, carrying out their destructive will, obliterating everything. Only God knows how many of them heretics managed to summon, and how many of them remain in the deep dark caverns underneath Moonshine Mountains. They've managed to take control of the iron mines of the foothills of the Moonshine Mountains. Since then, a black smoke has been fuming from there. Nobody knows what infernal plots they are forging down there, but just imagine is enough to make me despair. We must reveal and convict the heretics responsible for the mayhem, and prevent them from carrying out their monstrous plans. Fortunately, we have already a suspect. According to the investigation, it seems beyond doubt that he's guilty. We just need to gather enough evidence against him.
Really? Who is it, if I may ask?
It is Master Edmund the Obvious, the superior of Hillbrandt chapter of the Brotherhood of Righteous. Yes, you've heard right. I know it sounds crazy. Nevertheless, it seems beyond doubt that he was the one who summoned the orcs and other hellspawns, and was using them to pursue his shameful goals, which he exchanged for his holy mission and protection of divine order he swore to uphold in this monastic oath. As you can see, it's a rather delicate matter that will test your real aims. Either you'll try to enforce justice, or your actual intentions will come out.
Master of the Brotherhood of Righteous? I don't believe one of the highest-ranking paladins of our order would descend to something like that.
Your reaction is understandable. Masters of the Brotherhood of Righteous are subject only to the Grand Master of the Order, and to all his seneschals. They indirectly wield the Grand Master's powers, and at first Master Edmund the Obvious seemed to be an honest and devout man, led by the noblest notions. That's why I'd hesitate to believe the result of the investigation, if we lived in normal times. How could such a noble man be controlled by devilish temptations? Nonetheless, considering the current situation...
What do you mean, Your Honor?
I mean the shameful heretical conspiracy of the Brotherhood of Righteousness, my son. You must have heard about it. You're one of them, the highest officials of Brotherhood of Righteousness, led by Grand Master Christopher. De Melamart himself openly came out against the Holy Office. They probably want to persuade His Highness Edward II to restrain our jurisdiction and powers.
Why would they do that?
Your superiors repeatedly claimed that the Brotherhood of Righteousness has been responsible for carrying out justice since the times of immemorial. Not such a long time ago, they were jurisdiction all over the estates of the realms, including the clergy. Nevertheless, after the realm was struck by the scourges of God and heretic intrigues began to envelop into armed revolts, our Holy Mother Church persuaded King Edward to entrust the Holy Office with investigation of heresy and to give it, in the matters connected with heresy, jurisdiction over all estates of the realm, including the knightly order of the Brotherhood of Righteous.
Well?
It was the only way to uproot heresy from the entire society. Nevertheless, the Brotherhood of the Righteousness opposes the decisions and tries to procure restrictions of the powers of the Holy Office. Your superiors are accusing us of pursuing their own interest and misusing the powers entrusted us for performing shameful deeds. They're trying to blacken us and cast doubt upon our holy mission, which is entrusted us not only by the king, but also by God himself. What insolence!
Why would they do something like that?
Because they're afraid of their own crimes. The Order has been keeping secrets for so long, it could be revealed. I trust many paladins are loyal to the king and to God, but I doubt about superiors of the Order. They're trying to prevent Inquisitors from revealing what they're doing in their impregnable fortress, in the Citadel. They're not willing to let the truth appear, and to risk that, we will be rightly punished in front of the face of God. But that's where they're wrong, my son. The culprits are not going to avoid justice, and people like you and me will see to that. They're going to face divine justice, and Master Edmund the Obvious will be the first.
Why do you think the heretic you're looking for here in Hillbrandt is exactly Edmund the Obvious?
Because the night when the Greenskins attacked the town, Edmund the Obvious was allegedly seen opening one of the town gates for those infernal monsters. Preliminary investigation proved that it was likely him indeed who let them in the town, allowing them to carry out their highest destructive task. That leads me to your missions, my son. Find out if the accusation is based on truth, and if so, arrest Master Edmund the Obvious. As soon as you manage to do so, hand him over to Sheriff Canterbury, and then seek me out. Well then, discuss what to do next. I believe that Master Edmund the Obvious was ordered to perpetrate those crimes by somebody from the Brotherhood of Righteous. I must know who it was. We must crush that conspiracy and justly punish our perpetrators.
Very well, Your Honor. I'll do my best. Could I ask you some questions before I start my investigation?
But of course, my son. I'm here to guide you.
What can be used as evidence in the inquisitorial trial?
You can use anything that'll help clarify the case, and that is directly connected to a fact or a person. Usually it's testimony of the accused or a witness, examination, objects, and documents related to the given case. Nevertheless, it can also be a logical deduction if you manage to connect several appropriate clues and information in such a way that will prove a certain fact.
What must I do to arrest a suspect?
You can only arrest a person accused of heresy by an inquisitorial prosecutor. The accusation against the suspect can be brought only after the prosecutor is provided with sufficient evidence. We have only one inquisitorial prosecutor here in Hillbrandt, his Father Jeremiah. You'll have to cooperate with him very closely. Seek him out, and he'll tell you all the details.
When it's possible to sentence a person accused of heresy.
Final judgment can only be passed when the indicted is accused of heresy and he's proven guilty beyond doubt. In fact, it means you need to acquire a sufficient number of proofs, which will be used by the court to find the accused guilty.
What do you think about the crisis the realm has been dragged into, Your Honor?
In my opinion, the situation we're in is really fucked up. It might seem it's no wonder that the heresy has been spreading vividly in the recent years as there's despair and doom all around us. Nevertheless, that's exactly the difficulty of the test, my son. We must carry on until everything turns to good. We must then keep faith without single stain. We must not allow anyone to doubt it, let alone to dispute or avoid it. All who have gone astray must be put into the hands of the divine justice, and you, too, might help you accomplish that, my son.
What monsters have you met here in Hillbrandt, Your Honor?
According to the testimonies of eyewitnesses, there are monsters, scamps, demons, apparitions, and hellspawns galore, my son. I've personally met only orcs and giant bats. Nevertheless, there are rumors of much worse monsters, half-ogres with bodies as big as boulders, trolls with skin of stone, and giant spiders with mandibles as big as sickles. It's hard to tell what the truth is. It's just superstition. Nevertheless, the amount of hellspawns in the air is much higher than I originally expected. I'm afraid of the days to come, my son. That few soldiers who have no hope of being reinforced can protect against grave dangers that we'll certainly face, especially not against the orcs.
Are there any tales or legends connected to Hilbert or its surroundings?
I would say so, my son. The locals are rather prone to rumors and superstitions of all kinds. It's probably caused by the lower level of education. Morons, by more simple conditions, and last but not least, by the certain amount of barbarism which was inherited by the ancestors of these people. Did you know, my son, that during the barbarian wars, many tribesmen from the icy plains settled here and were assimilated by the locals after some time? After all, it explained many strange traditions of these people which sometimes border on adultery and heresy. Adultery? Did I say adultery? I meant idolatry. That's when you worship other idols, not your neighbor's wife. If you'd like to know some of the legends regarding this region, ask the locals. Now, I'm off to see my neighbor's wife. Ta-ta.
Do you happen to know anything about the death of Merchant Kruth Olimir?
The death of Kruth saddened me greatly, dear son. Well, not that I'd be sad he lost his miserable life. The Holy Office itself was interested in him, that is. We suspected him of heresy, and if not of heresy, then of helping it, which is in effect the same.
What is the basis of this suspicion?
His business, my son. He pretended to be a merchant. Nevertheless, he didn't deal in anything you could buy normally. He specialized in items from ancient times, especially in those coming from the age of Erebor, but also from many others, even old pagan times. It is still not known exactly how he was able to acquire them. Nevertheless, it's likely he had the black market connections, or that he himself scavenged certain site rich with the remnants of those pagan realms. That's the reason the Holy Office became interested in him. There was suspicion that he also dealt in the heretical and other blasphemous items which offend God himself by besmirching his name. I'm really sorry he fell victim to an assassin before I could ask a few questions. With the help of a rack, of course.
Has anything unusual happened during your stay in Hillbrandt?
I've seen many things during my long life in the kingdom of God on earth, my son. I've been tracking Satan and his lackeys all my life, and since the day I appointed the inquisitorial judge, I've faced the most heinous of crimes so many times that I almost lost my faith. Nevertheless, what I found here surpassed all my expectations and my worries. Heresy of the worst kind infiltrated the highest ranks of the realm. That's why we must act, my son, very quickly. Outside the walls there are legions of monsters mustering in dark holds to be led by the false idol worshippers against us, the faithful. Evil must be uprooted and burned to the ground.
Thank you, Your Honor. That is all. I'll start my investigation.
Wait a moment, my dear son. To pursue your investigation, you need a bit more of the appropriate equipment. Keep in mind, you'll be exposed to many a danger, thus you should be well prepared. Here's a pouch of gold. It should be enough to buy basic equipment. Take my advice. Use the money wisely.
So little? I'd expect more, considering all the dangers you've just mentioned.
Be modest, my son. As a member of the Brotherhood of Righteousness, you should be meek and modest, same as a cleric should. Now go. You have a difficult task ahead, and it's absolutely necessary for you to start your investigation as soon as possible.
Puh. Bullshit. Hello, gray-robed man.
Welcome to Hillbrandt, son. I'm happy I may welcome another faithful man and moreover a member of the Brotherhood of the Righteousness here, particularly in such hard times. The crimes that occurred in our diocese are horrible. Even though we lived at the very borders of the realm, our Bishop Quintius was always able to set things right. His sincerity and determination could open the hearts of the most stubborn sinners, and now we have to witness people being seduced by infernal forces and throwing away what poor Bishop was trying to establish here.
Did you say poor Bishop Quintius? What do you mean? Did anything happen to him?
You don't know, son? Oh, of course, you are new here. Bishop Quintius, heaven have mercy with him, has been missing. He disappeared during the recent orc attack on town. Everybody thinks the beast killed the bishop, but I don't believe it, because his body was never found. They found blood in the church where he was attacked, but that doesn't prove shit. It looks like the bishop was fighting hard with the orcs.
Do you think that kept him alive?
Yes, I'm positive. Unlike the others, he was wanted to simply kill him. They'd probably leave his body at the place. I think the bishop was kidnapped. He must have been...
Bullshit. If he's still alive, I'm going to get him back. If he's not, I will avenge his death.
Is that so, son? Would you do it for him? Blessed be thy name. You're an example of a true faithful. I'm confident your deeds will be rewarded with success. I know Bishop Quintius hasn't passed away.
We'll see.
Yes, you're right. Can I do anything for you? Do you need healing? A potion or scroll?
Let me check your shit out first. I got a short sword. I got a short saber. I got a better dagger. Who gives a shit?
All kinds of stuff that are Greek to me. And also, wait, well, I got 2,000 gold, actually. I'll tinker around with that stuff later. Why is the saber red? Makes me feel like I can't use it. Let's see, 3 to 7, 4 to 9, 5 to 12. Alright, we're gonna go with the red saber. A saber is a weapon that originated from the desert realm of Jadhabal and was introduced into the faithful world by the Crusaders returning from the First Crusade, declared by the Pope against Jadhabal. Its most characteristic feature is a curved blade. Former types of sabers had only slightly curved blades and short guards, with downward bent ends lifting the small balls. Generally, there are two types of sabers, short and long. While long sabers become commonly mostly used by heavy cavalry and secondary weapons, short sabers became very popular with light cavalry as primary. In comparison to a sword or long saber, it was not that clumsy and allowed a rider to keep slashing all around him. In some regular armies, a short saber became an insignia of higher-ranking officers. At the beginning of the 13th century, short sabers became popular with infantry as well, replacing short swords and axes. In a close combat skirmish, a short saber can be used to launch both slashing and stabbing attacks. $2,000 gold from the man who's old. So can we just talk to any one of these? Oh, there's Jeremiah.
Greetings, son.
I have had you arrived in Hillbrandt to bolster the ranks of the Brotherhood of the Righteousness. It seems that we'll have to put all efforts into the fight with heresy that's spreading through town. My name is Jeremiah, and I'm an inquisitorial prosecutor.
I've met with the Inquisitor Judge Valaran. He told me that we were going to work together. A lot.
Yes, regrettably he was right. I won't hide that I disagree with His Excellency's decision to involve a secular person in the investigation process of the Holy Office, but I'm not here to judge his decisions. Your task is to conduct an investigation and gather evidence against the heresy suspect. As soon as you have enough evidence to charge someone, come to me, and I'll hear your cause. If I find evidence convincing enough, I'll issue a warrant of arrest which will enable you to arrest suspect and hand him over to the Sheriff Canterbury. He'll imprison him then. If you'd like to make the imprisoned subjects to the right of torture, tell the Sheriff and he'll prepare everything.
How long have you been in Hillbrandt, Father?
Not too long. I've arrived just after the snow thawed, and the roads became at least a little passable, though it was still a perilous journey. Only those who travel to the realm in these difficult times can fully understand the depths and the crisis of which is upon us. There are swarms of hellspawns who no longer try to hide from daylight. Heretics are plotting to carry out their unholy plans everywhere, and heretic cults thrive as much as the hopes of those still believing fades. It's terrible.
Judge Valaran suspects Master Aemondiaris of heresy. He charged me with acquiring incriminating evidence. What do you think of such suspicion?
I agree with the Judge Valaran. I think that Master Edmund committed the crimes of which he's expected. It really seems that him opened the gates to the orcs during the light stacks against the city. I myself called upon him to fully cooperate with the Holy Inquisition, but he fiercely denied me. I am afraid that his soul is corrupt, although till now I've never heard anything but praise for him. But the times are dire, and people can easily lose their faith. Try asking people of our town. They could be able to provide you with testimonies. The truth must be revealed.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
But of course, son.
What do you think about the crisis that is spreading across the realm, Father?
What do I think about the crisis? I think that God bestowed indeed a difficult test upon us. Maybe the most difficult since the defeat of pagans, and it happened a millennium ago. Sometimes I really don't know what to think about it. If I originally interpreted the Holy Scriptures, I would have to conclude that the day of judgment is coming, with it prophesied in the revelation of St. Ezekiel. The beast is pounding upon the gates of its prison to set itself free and to mesmerizing all nations of the world. The star of doom has risen in the sky. Angels blew their clarions, and 3 scourges of God fell upon us. Famine came first. Years later came plague, and this year fire rained down from the skies. Evil monsters are rising everywhere, and evil spreads its webs. What else could it be than the signs of the end of the world? Although I still do hope that it's just an unfortunate coincidence, the only thing we should be concentrating on is the fight against heresy. The decline of faith awakens sinful thinking in the people, and we must stop it no matter the cost.
He kind of says the same things as the other priest. Do you know anything about the death of the merchant Kurth Olmier?
I'm rather familiar with the case of the murder. I've been investigating it myself. Kurt Olmier was suspicious of heresy, and thus the Holy Office was indeed interested in him. Unfortunately, somebody acted faster than us, and killed the bastard. I must say that it's very unsettling for the Holy Office. The Inquisition doesn't like its heresy suspects being removed before they can be investigated.
Who could have committed the murder?
I don't know, son. It's possible that it was some self-proclaimed Holy Avenger who believes his deeds to be divine will. Though I doubt it. I'm sure that the heretical colleagues are behind the murder. They were simply afraid he might reveal them. Perhaps they might somehow know about the suspicion and expect us to interrogate Olmier, and thus they removed him. Yes, it seems very likely. That's why we must quickly capture Olmier's murderers and interrogate them.
Do you have any suspicions?
No, unfortunately not. The investigation ended in a deadlock. There's no witnesses, no traces which would explain the circumstance of murder, though I think that's only a matter of time that we apprehend the perpetrator and question him.
The Lord is merciful, son. Surely he'll be merciful to you as well.
We have to stop it, noble lord. We have to stop it once and for all.
What do you mean? What should I stop?
The evil, Knight. The evil in human souls. It spreads like some fatal disease. We may be infected at any moment. Haven't you noticed how few people attend services in churches? People think there's no point in church. And many of them are being devoted to idols, old pagan gods, or even to the Prince of Darkness himself.
Have no fear. The evil will be utterly destroyed.
I hope you do, Knight, because otherwise we will have no hope left. If you were a common man like me, Knight, what would you do in these hard days?
I would pray to God. God is our salvation.
Prayers haven't been good for anything so far. Certainly, he didn't stop any of the scourges.
Well, let's start off by talking to all the name people. Alas, we are doomed! The end of the world is coming! The star of doom blazed in the sky. 3 angels blew their trumpets. The 3 seals were broken. Famine, plague, and fire from the sky tell us clearly that our time has come. God turned his face away from us. The scriptures speak clearly. We will be damned, and the 1,000 years of God's rule will be ended. Satan will be released from his jail. No, Mr. Satan, leave us alone.
Who are you?
What? Who am I? Nobody. No, I'm nobody. I'm damned as well as you and all others. God became angry with us and turned his face away. Disasters of 3 seals affected our world, and Mr. Satan is already knocking on heaven's door.
You really don't have any name?
I had a name, but I lost it. Together with my family, they died in the plague. Together with my belongings, which the rain of fire took away from me. My name was Thomas Reichdorf, but that name is gone forever. I used to be a farmer. I prayed to God, went to church for confessions and for Holy Mass. I paid tithes. I paid my taxes and gave generous gifts to the Holy Mother Church. My family was God-fearing and faithful, and despite that, God took them all from me. And do you know why? Because our time is already over. The end of the kingdom of God on earth came. Those who threw away the faith and turned to the powers of hell are already preparing the throne for their ruler. And God punished us for that.
Your words are outright heresy. How do you dare preach anything like that? You could be put to execution stake for that.
Yes, let's ignite the stakes. Let them burn with purging flame. It's the only way to destroy the heretics, the awful helpers of the Prince of Hell. Let's ignite the fires of justice in the whole realm. Let the heretics die a purifying death, their bodies flooded with painful agony of mercy. People don't wait for anything and light stakes of witches and sorcerers because you're doing the will of God.
Be careful, good man. This is the work of the Inquisition, not a mission for common people.
So why doesn't the Holy Inquisition do anything about it? Why must the conscience of the heretics walk with impunity in full daylight without a single threat? Why doesn't that damned Edmund de Avis stand on execution stake yet? Why doesn't the purging flame lick his soul already?
Did you say Edmund de Avis?
Yes, Edmund de Avis. He's a wolf dressed in lambskin. I curse both his name and his soul. I hope he'll turn black in the eternal cauldrons of hell. I hope he'll never find peace.
Why do you think of Edmund de Avis as a heretic?
He's plotted with dark powers. He summoned monsters to this world, and he gives them orders. He consorts with them in the night during heretic Sabbaths. He drinks the blood of non-baptized children. He's a fucking demon in human body.
Do you have any proof of your statements?
Sure I have. Providence itself revealed to me the truth of the real spirit of Edmund de Avis. The night when the infernal orcs got to town, I saw the treacherous Edmund sneaking around the stockade like a dark shadow in the dark in a moment. And when the tired Gauls rested by the fire, he opened the gate to the hordes of greenskins. It was him who caused that terrible slaughter. He's the source of all evil. I hate him! Dick!
I don't believe it was Master Edmund de Avis. It was too dark for you to recognize him clearly, wasn't it?
Yes, it was dark like hell, but I recognized him. I was sitting in one of the sheds near the stockade. He didn't see me at all, but I saw him well. He waited till the guards went under fire, then he sneaked to the gate and opened it. Before anybody was able to do anything, the hellspawns were in, and a terrible bloody slaughter began. It was Edmund the Alvius who let them into the town, I swear.
Thank you, good man. Farewell. Lying piece of dog doo-doo. Fellow Inquisitor, stay a while and listen.
Hello, son. I heard you were working on the case of Master Edmund the Alvius heresy. It's really commendable that you are willing to investigate even your superior. I would never expected that from a paladin of the Brotherhood of Righteous, but the instigator of all disgusting crimes against God and the King has been found and punished. How is your investigation going?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. I am the GameHorder after all.
I'm happy for you, son. Nevertheless, don't forget, God sees all our actions.
So, what's your point?
Don't despair, son. Remember that the paladins of the Brotherhood of the Righteous cannot cope. The job of the Holy Office starts.
Blah, 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 blah. Lick my ass.
Alright, let's see here. Let's do a little exploring around town and check some stuff out. We have a building here we're going to check out. Digging these old school graphics, man. Just digging them. It's just like a pretty version. So we have a building there. Look at the beggar here. Maybe Flitz the beggar knows something. We have a house here we can't explore. I love the structures in this. They're pretty cool, just how the different sizes of them. The church just looms over all the rest of the buildings. Got some soldiers over here. What I'll probably end up doing is interrogating all the named people yet. Have some kind of like astronomy lab up here. Might need to check into that. Here's the paladins.
Fellow paladins. Stay a while and listen. I'm Deckard Cain. And I died in Diablo 3 like a little bitch. Shut up, dog.
Alright, we got fucking strafing. Alright, we got some little shanties here we can check out. Another commoner. Oh, here's the blacksmith. Alright, so quite a bit of buildings here, even for this tiny beginner town. Probably going to spend quite a few videos here, I'd imagine, just exploring.
Hello, knight. Welcome to my inn. It's not much, that's true, but then again, it's the best tavern in town. Maybe mainly because it's the only one. But you all get here, you can need a good drink to every sort of arms and armor. What can I do for you? Your inn looks as good as any other, innkeeper. You've nothing to be ashamed for. Well, maybe you're right, knight. Yes, you surely are. Thanks. What can I do for you? Can I talk to you? By all means. What do you want to know, knight? I'm searching for heretics here in Hillbrandt. Have you heard of any gossip in your inn? Better yet, Master Edmund the Alvius is suspected of heresy. What do you think? It may be Master the Alvius is innocent, knight, but it's also maybe he's guilty. Who could judge it? People say somebody saw him opening the gates for the orcs during the recent assault on town, but it could be a mistake. Somebody thought he saw Master the Alvius, but in fact it was someone else. But maybe it really was him. How the hell could I know? Has something uncommon happened here in Hillbrandt lately? I've heard lots of gossip about former Bishop Herbertius returning to the other world. He supposedly walks around the town and looks for new victims. Just to inform you, Bishop Herbertius wasn't too popular, especially at the end of his tenure here. Could you tell me why? People started to whisper he sold himself to Satan, and that he got many forbidden pleasures in exchange for his sword. The truth is that young girls started to disappear, and later even boys. Their mutilated corpses were found from time to time deep in the woods, but it was never investigated, because there was no evidence. One day, we found him dead.
found dead in his bed, and since then there's been peace. Until now, they say he's returned to repay what he owes the old Nick himself. The truth is, there are weird things going on in the cemetery these days, and nobody dares to go there, not even at high noon.
I'm searching for heretics in Hillbrandt. Have you heard of any gossip?
I hear so much gossip about heretics every day that I get an earache night. One has bewitched the cow of another so that it lost milk. Someone else bedeviled the neighbor's dog and it died. And another one charmed someone's spouse so she spreaded her thighs for him. People are so possessed by all the paganism and witchcraft that they don't hesitate to throw dirt on anyone who just slightly displeases them.
So you think there's no truth to those fables?
I didn't say that. There is some truth in everything. Take, for example, Duke Weinberg. I wouldn't say a wrong word about him, but consider it yourself. The scourges of God haven't hurt him in any way. While we all lost all sorts of things during the sorrowful 3 years, but all the scourges gave him was a wide berth. He didn't lose anyone from his family. His granaries and pantries are still full. His herds are in good shape, and all his houses are where they should be. How the fuck is that possible? That's the question.
I've heard the miners' village near the iron mines was massacred. People say orcs did it.
Yes, you've heard well. Asherbot was massacred by the cursed orcs, and iron mines too. Only a few people managed to get to the safety of the town. Well, as for the safety the orcs assault on the town several days ago has shown clearly that no one is safe now. Who would have thought that only several years ago, business was good even here near the border. Harvests were good, iron ore was plentiful. Simply the kingdom of God on earth, and now all of a sudden, a bunch of bad shit is happening.
Why do you think the crisis that is spreading throughout the realm?
It's not a crisis, it's downright disaster. The end of the world, I would say. You can see it at the people in Hillbrandt. They said in other parts of the realm that we are stubborn and tough and nothing can decompose us. And that's absolutely true. But we're using fighting the grudge in a life, as they say. You know, no one has a bed of roses here in the north of the realm. If you don't get used to it, you're done for. That's why we're able to endure hard times more easily than others in the south. But now, I've never seen so much hopelessness and despair. It's like some incurable illness. It spreads fast, and who gets infected is as good as gone. The scourges of God have taken from us the most valuable thing, our hope. Hardly anyone believes anymore. That is all turned for the better.
Do you know anything about the disappearance of Bishop Quintinus?
They say that Bishop Quintinus disappeared the night when the orcs assaulted the town. If that's true, he's surely rendered his soul to God already. I like the old man a lot. I always managed to come to terms with him during confessions and got absolution for cutting beer with water.
You cut beer with water?
Yes, knight. Well, in fact, no, not anymore, because I promised Bishop Quintin I wouldn't do it. Instead, I raised its price not to lose profit.
It's a really thorny path of penance.
Just so, knight. Life's tough.
Do you know anything about the death of merchant Kurth Olimier?
You ask me if I know something about Kurth? My God, how could I know? The terrible murder happened right in my own inn. Olimier had a room rented here in the attic. He paid well. I never had any problem with him, and now he's dead.
What can you tell me about Olimier?
He posed as a merchant, but rather he was an adventurer and treasure hunter. As far as I can tell, he lived on selling all sorts of things, and somebody ordered. They were mainly items from ages long ago, various artifacts, relics, holy items, books, scrolls, medallions. Treasure hunting paid him quite a lot, at least as far as I could tell.
When did you find Olmier's body?
It was the morning, the night. I brought him breakfast every day, but there was the unusual silence in his room. It seemed strange to me because he used to be an early riser, regardless of how long he was drinking the night before. But I thought he just looked as well, so I went on. I wanted to stand the breakfast next to his bed, and then I saw the havoc, and it all fell out of my hands right onto the floor, stained with blood. Never seen so much blood, maybe not even in a slaughterhouse. The merchant lied in the middle of the room, his hands spread wide, his eyes gazing at the ceiling, and there was a huge pool of drying blood around him. His throat was cut like he was a hen in the mouth, and stuffed. God forgive me. His own manhood. His own fucking manhood was stuffed in his mouth. Have you ever seen a cock shoved in a man's mouth? I tell you flat out, I'm not weak nature, but I was put hard to keep my knees from buckling. So I ran straight off to the Sheriff Contenberry, and I told him all about it. I said, cock in the mouth, cock in the mouth. What are we going to do?
Do you know who was the last person Olimier spoke to?
I don't remember, knight. He was in the ballroom the whole evening. It was very busy there because it was the feast of St. Hedwig. He had to go away before midnight because he definitely wasn't among the last patrons. I had to kick out after the midnight. He probably went to sleep during the evening, not knowing death is waiting for him.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Knight. I hope you'll catch those murderers as soon as possible. I'll be much more comfortable when I see their heads on the town gate.
Are there any legends or tales about this region circulating among the people?
Legends, you say? You mean superstitions, stories, and such? Well, I've heard a lot of them. People say there's treasure buried near Dragon Rock, that there's a barbarian ghost haunting the Tree of Death, that there's cursed spirits praying for mercy in the Dead Man's Stone near the gallows, or there was once a pagan kingdom of Thrawn deep under the Moonshine Mountains. And it's the last king, Halia, has been supposedly haunting there up to this day. There's a new defender of the realm will rise from the common folk soon and restore peace and justice in these lands. Those fables are so numerous that we would be here for a whole day if I was to tell you at least a small part of what people say. Try asking around town. Someone will be surely glad to tell you something.
Hey, innkeeper, is there any gambling in your end, where one may pocket some money?
You're surely heard, Knight, that the Holy Mother Church condemned gambling as a sin and King Edward forbid it by his decree?
Yes, I heard, but it can be that Holy Mother Church isn't always right, and not every law of the realm is being adhered to.
In that case, you've come to the right place, Knight. I'm no criminal or something like that, you know, but here in Hillbrandt, gambling is a part of common life, you see. It offers some diversion and a chance to get some easy money. That's why I offer the game of dice to my patrons.
That's all. Farewell.
Knight, may I be so bold to ask you for a little favor?
Sure. What is it?
The thing they need to borrow a certain sum of money. I know it sounds weird. We don't know each other, but as they are asking is free.
What would you need money for?
A relative of mine asked me for help. I haven't much myself, so I'm asking around, but I haven't come off so far. The times are desperate.
And how would I benefit if I lend you money, good man?
Well, I'm not sure of that, Knight. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll get the loan back. It's hard to say.
I'll lend you the money, that's not a problem. How much do you need?
1,000 gold.
That's too much.
It's no gold then. Farewell, and sorry for bothering you.
Goddamn right.
I think I'm giving you half my fucking money, you're crazy. Alright folks, I think that about wraps it up again for another video. Stay tuned until next time, and we'll bust out some more
Inquisitor action!